Welcome back to Persephone Says. It has been a little while since I've done a solo episode, and this one was one that you actually requested, and it is on the list. So if you are not familiar with what the hell I'm talking about, I'm just going to give you a quick summary on what exactly that is. The lists are editorial and wedding specific publications that are put out once a year, different times of year, that rank and list the best wedding professionals in specific markets. Sometimes it's global, sometimes it's regionally based, what have you. Over the Moon recently put out their list, and they're broken down in different categories. So best planner, best photographer, best videographer, etc. And it always stirs up a lot of, frankly, shit talking, a lot of conversation. And so I feel that because I'm like one click removed, I hear all the chatter. People come to me and to us to discuss it often. But I wanted to just zoom out for a second and really focus on what is going on here? Should we care? Should we not care? Let's do a little bit of a digest as to the reality of the lists. Are they meaningful? Do they book you business? Let's kind of break it down. I also want to say that this conversation is in no way to denigrate any of the winners at all, because frankly, I don't think I think that's in poor taste, but also because the winners don't have any real decision-making, input here. And we're going to actually unravel what exactly that means to even be featured, to be considered, all of those different things. So again, the purpose of this conversation is purely to break down the reality of the industry, kind of talk about the politics of the industry, and because frankly, that is all wrapped up in what these lists are and aren't. And so let's roll it back, okay? So the lists I'm really talking about here are Vogue, Over the Moon, Brides. There's also The Wed. There's also lots of different publications popping up left and right, blogs like microblogs, etc. Which that's cool. I'm really just kind of talking about the core ones here, and these are kind of the ones that are left. For those of you that don't know, I've been in this industry for over 15 years plus at this point. And once upon a time, there were so many publications, and you had so many different places to be featured. Submissions and things of that nature were so, frankly, easy to acquire at the time. And I think part of this strife is because that has decreased. Publications have gone away, disintegrated, are no longer seen or valued in the same capacity. Hardly any of them are even publishing, actual magazines and editorials that you can actually pick up on a newsstand or at CVS. And so that means that we still have the same volume of content and only a few places to push it out for it to be seen in those regards or in that light. Okay. I think that's important to just mention. I also want to make it known that, let's be honest here, the level of importance that these publications have to couples is disproportionately low in comparison to the wedding industry. I need to say that again. The level of importance that these lists and publications and features have to couples is almost not meaningful at all in comparison to the wedding industry, who obsesses over them, frankly. We're going to unravel that. Now, the other elephant in the room is that a lot of these different publications are pay to play, a lot of them. And by the way, that's cool. Everyone needs to make money. A lot of them are hardly surviving. I mean, you have Over the Moon, who has a directory, and you pay, I think it's $5,000 to be in the directory. Cool. You're invited. Whatever, that's fine. It's probably an okay thing to do for SEO purposes. There's other places, I think The Wed, paying to play to put your name out there, especially in the realm of ChatGPT, which is looking for validation and proof that you are the expert that you are, these are not bad things to do. So I also think we need to stop saying that with such a like flippant nose in the air. Who fucking cares? Okay. Like, can we say that? Who fucking cares if you're paying to play? Now, here's where it gets choppy and confusing is now, because you paid to play, does that mean that you're guaranteed to be on the list? That's kind of what we need to unravel and talk about further. Okay. Let's talk about this from the perspective of the wedding professionals first. We're going to kind of talk about this in three pieces. You're a wedding creative, you're a wedding professional. From the editorial perspective, the editors themselves, and I'll give some commentary on, both. And then lastly, from couples, because if you're engaged and you're like, why do I care? Do I need to care? You're going to, hear my perspective on that as well. Okay. So you're a wedding professional and these lists come out and you're not on them and you're pissed. This is not the first time or the only industry where lists exist. Have you ever opened anything within beauty, a magazine, if you even buy those, or look at any of these different blogs or Vogue Beauty or any of these different publications, digital or otherwise? They're all fucking lists, guys. Like, who? Fine. That's great. It's good for business. Cool. It's just a perspective. Like, it's a couple people's perspectives. You can take it or you can leave it. It is no different here within our industry either. It's cool to aspire to also. So I think where it gets, again, choppy is that a lot of the businesses that are receiving these accolades or get on these lists have been in business for like 15, 20, 30 years. So of course, their level of expertise, client base, book of business, budgets are going to be higher caliber than yours in year 5. That's just how it goes. Okay? That's just how it goes. Not to mention the fact that a lot of these publications are very rooted in relationships. They are. Working closely with some very, very high level photographers for some rollouts and some very, very incredible planners for social rollouts. And, the photographers are holding a lot of those relationships so that they can help push certain things forward because they've invested in time, money, energy to have that ability to email an editor and say, like, I have this, and they know how to present it properly. Okay. It's just like anything else. It's the number of reps and how you do it and how many reps you do with perfection. That's not a crime. And I feel like sometimes we're kind of taking it as such. What I don't like about the lists is this. I don't like how we have wrapped up our self-worth in the lists. So one of your competitors got featured, got the award, got mentioned, whatever, and you didn't. And that fucking sucks. However, that doesn't matter. It matters to your ego. It matters to your vanity. Does it matter to your bank account? We're going to talk about that. Does it matter to your couples? We're also going to talk about that. We're personalizing this and making it feel embarrassing, shameful, all of these fucking stupid words that really honestly only have use in therapy, and taking it out on Reddit threads and taking it out on fucking Instagram. Like, enough. It's enough. Okay? Enough. We are making it into a popularity contest. Guys, all of this is a popularity contest. It is. Like, it's not cute to say, but it's true. Again, most of these businesses that are being featured have been around for quite some time and they've been doing the thing. Or they've been buddy buddies with certain editors. Popularity contests, and that's okay. What matters is the number of zeros in your bank account. Are you doing the weddings that you are fulfilled with? Like, that is what is important here. I also think that it's just important to also note and be clear, and you might not like this, but this is just the truth, that your weddings might never get featured, and you might not ever be on those lists, and that's okay too. Like, what editors are looking for is not an all-white wedding with all white people. I said it. It's true. Like, these publications were called out for that a couple years ago. And honestly, good, right? Like, we need to mix it up. But if that's who your client base is, that's not a bad thing. That's just your client base. It just might mean you might not appear in Vogue. And that's okay. Now, what I will say from the editor's perspective, and by the way, I have some wonderful relationships with many of these editors. Like, they're doing their job, okay? They have to go through all this content, all these people, like, decide on and make hard decisions. And if you think that they are not getting their asses handed to them via email the next day from some people that they have relationships with, that they didn't select, like, you're wrong, because a lot of those people are my friends. And a lot of those people chewing them out are also my friends. Like, I get it, but I also think we need to calm the fuck down. All right? They're doing their jobs. Not everyone can be on the list. You shouldn't be for everybody, or else you are for nobody. And you can have such a successful business without being on these godforsaken lists. It's so obnoxious sometimes how much emphasis we are putting here. Now, the only thing I will say from an editor's perspective that does really infuriate me, because it feels lazy, and I am saying that intentionally, is when people are selected and they're like not doing weddings anymore. I think it was Virginia from Bluebird Productions out in Colorado. I think there was a Vogue list or Harper's Bazaar list that got refreshed literally for SEO purposes, and it became this thing and fodder. And she's like, I don't even fucking do weddings. Yeah, that's irresponsible. There are people who are on these lists that just came out who like literally aren't doing weddings, and like it is a known thing. And that's annoying. And like, that is your responsibility. It is, to do a little homework and not just pick from the list from the previous year. Like, because people do care so much, you're holding a lot of cards. And so I don't know why the due diligence there isn't always done, in my mind, like to the nth degree. Can't we just show good work that has a perspective that aligns with that audience? That doesn't mean, by the way, like you need to abandon your publication's audience, but I just feel like there's a lot to unpack there. Going back one step, I realized that I didn't close this loop. A couple years ago, I contacted, I think it was like 20, 25 of my clients who had been featured on the lists. And I texted them, and because I was just curious, like, have these lists converted for you? Have these lists converted for you into real clients? And of all those people, there was one planner and one, maybe two photographers that said that they got business directly from the lists. Okay? I want you to like think about that again. I want you to also think about the first thing I said, which is our level of care is disproportionately higher. Our, meaning the wedding industry's level of care, is disproportionately higher than that of couples. Couples are inundated with so much information, so much content. A lot of what's going viral is not the people who are being featured. These lists. Say that again. I'm like, now it's ASMR. A lot of these people who are going viral for cool events are not on these lists, period. Okay? Because it doesn't align or whatever, or politics or whatever. Now, I promised that if you're a couple listening to this or you're engaged, I need to give you a couple of hot takes from that perspective too. You still need to do your homework. These aren't a pre-screening, a pre-vetting of who you should be working with. Just because they're on these lists doesn't make them right for you. And there's so much talent at so many different price points. And frankly, typically, the people who are featured on these lists are at the highest levels of price points, oftentimes. So, that either aligns with you or doesn't. There's also so many people who weren't on the list who are still operating at those price points who might be a perfect fit. So please don't use this as honestly anything other than if you want to look at some pretty pictures and save some things. Okay? You still have to do your homework. You still have to interview people. Just because they're featured doesn't make them a great planner or a great designer. They might be a mess. There's tons of people who are operating like that too. Or their personalities don't match with yours. There's so many factors here that matter. That matter to you and your family. That matter to you and your fiance. Okay. So I just wanted to, again, now that we've kind of laid it out, I need to say this. First of all, if you're focusing on building your brand, if you're focused on building relationships, if you're intentional with your digital footprint, you can far surpass any of the visibility that you would ever obtain from these lists. There are so many of our partners whose views on a monthly basis or on a post or on collaborations or whatever are so much stronger and more viral than any of these lists. And frankly, coming from that world, that's what made me start this business. I'm going to be honest with you. When I was at Wedding Wear and the Knot, though I had a great experience there, and that time was that time. There was lots of publications. It was great. When social came into the mix, it allowed small business owners to actually have more control over their destiny. They didn't need to just pay to play. They didn't need to just have someone else talk about them. They could talk about themselves. They could make themselves the expert. Frankly, this is the same thing. It's self-producing. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's normal, right? It's normal and it's empowering. We don't need anyone else to talk about us. If we are positioning ourselves appropriately, if we are telling a story that's connecting with our ideal audience, who gives a flying fuck about this? Okay? Genuinely, except if it's something that you want for your own personal growth, or actually, I'm not even going to say that, for vanity, which is fine. Okay? That's fine. For your ego, also fine. Also fine. Okay. You might have incredible work. I'm going to say it again. You might have incredible work that's never going to see the light of day, a publication, because it's whitewashed. I said that. I'm going to say it again. Or because it just doesn't make sense because it looks like a lot of other people's work. And that's okay. It's still beautiful. It's still going to get you your next best client. That's okay. It's just not what editors are looking for. And that's also okay because they have opinions too, right? Once upon a time, editors used to be the ultimate influencers. In fact, they were it. They were it. Now you have the ability to influence others. You have the ability to influence other couples. Like the narrative has shifted. The power dynamic has completely shifted. All right. Now, do they convert? We talked about that already. And again, I think we need to really go back to like, what's the point of all of this? Because again, when I'm talking to people who are on this like downward spiral of like, I didn't make the list, or this person made the list, or whatever, it's like, at the end of the day, we need to look at what you're doing. Is it connecting with people? Are you working with your ideal clients? If you're not, that doesn't mean that you're going to achieve that just because you are published or on a list or whatever. It doesn't mean that at all. Like, that's just a fact. Lastly, I will say that I do think, like, if you want to do, like, have a boom again of a viral moment, working with an influencer, working and being very methodical with the team that you're putting together and collaborating with on social. Like I said, I mean, did you see the Becca Bloom wedding that just went live? Like, the Becca Bloom wedding didn't go viral because of Vogue publishing it. The Becca Bloom wedding went viral because of Jose Villa and Becca Bloom. Not because they pushed it out, because these two, monstrosities on social have enough power and intention to make it a thing. Like, and I'm not saying you have to have 500,000 followers to be able to achieve that, but it's like, do you have a rollout strategy? Do you have are you telling a story, or are you just throwing up a bunch of images? Like literally throwing up a bunch of images, not just posting. Are you kind of telling a story and unfolding a story? That's how these greats do it. They're so thoughtful from start to finish. They're so thoughtful on the team that they're assembling. They're so thoughtful on when they have those images, how they're working with their couples, how they're working with their planners, how they're working to unveil literally the story. If you're just throwing up a bunch of sneaks just to get it up for that weekend, that's not it. It's not it. Sorry. Okay. I kind of feel like we need to do another side of this. I've been talking to a couple of editors that I was thinking about having on here, and just kind of getting to the bottom of what it takes to be considered for submissions. And again, I think sometimes our lens of our work is we have dysmorphia. We do. It's beautiful. It's maybe not right for that publication. It may be not right for any publication, and that's okay. It might not even be right for social media, period. And that's also okay. You don't need to share everything. But a lot of what I'm seeing, at least on Reddit threads and on TikToks and on Nanty Narking, and all of these different channels, is that people want transparency. Frankly, if you just kind of look at it, there's a lot of themes and threads that are happening, meaning to me, it feels kind of obvious what each is looking for. But if you think it would be valuable to hear from their mouths what they are looking for and the criteria, then let's do it. Because I think we kind of just need to rip off the Band-Aid and stop talking about it in silos. All right. Please follow, subscribe, comment, all the things. It means a lot. I'm loving these conversations with you. And until next time, see ya.